Hello all, Sique here, and welcome back to the path to Unpunishable. I wanted to, before we start with the Bound Heart, I wanted to thank you so much for those who gave so much support on the first day of the Path to Unpunishable deck set, a deck of cards for the Kickstarter. Against $1,000, we're already 200 in, and thank you for that. Thank you. That means so much in this time where I'm starting to rebuild my creative life. And if anything, it shows proof positive of what we're going to talk about here in the Bound Heart. The last card we discussed, the Ghost of Approval, that is about recognizing that approval may never come and allowing yourself to grieve that truth. The Bound Heart comes next. It is the grief that knows that pain is temporary. It reminds you that you are stronger than the thing that you were afraid to lose. And that behind that loss is the joy you've been yearning for, but could not reach while you were still clinging. It is the first step to allow your nervous system to relax and calm down so you can feel safe. And that's what happens when you see the truth of your situation. It does hurt, but then new blood moves through your veins. Your heart heals. Your steps grow lighter as your nervous system learns what peace feels like, even through the loss. Because the bound heart still loves. It still seeks kindness and fills with joy. It simply carries scars. And those scars have stories. Life may not have turned out the way you wanted it. And that's fine. And in some cases, that's good. And the Bound Heart asks a quiet question. A few, actually. Is there nothing here in the life that you have that you love? Isn't what you have enough? And if not, now that you're seeing clearly, why? And those are hard questions to answer. And sometimes there isn't a direct answer to them. It's a bunch of little answers that add up. Because we haven't taken the time, or we're too embarrassed, or it just takes so much mental and emotional energy to go through it. Or it just scares us so much that we don't even want to. And if you think I'm exaggerating, let me ask you the core question. What would you be if everything you identified with was gone? Who would you be if you could never rely on the privileges, the access, or the roles that make life feel predictable? If those labels fell away, if the safety nets failed, if the worst thing you feared actually happened, who would be the person that remains? Mind you, I didn't ask, what would you do? I asked, who would you be? And this is the reason why the Bound Heart matters, because it's asked you to sit with that question without rushing to fix it. Many of us, myself included, build our sense of worth around what we can offer, what we can produce, or how others respond to us. When those things are threatened in any way, or worse, taken away, the pain feels existential. It burns your bones. This card doesn't deny that you're hurting. It doesn't deny that pain at all. It tells you that grief does not mean destruction. It means transition. It means learning that your core is not held together by approval, productivity, or permission. It is held together by what you love and what you continue to choose, even when it costs you something. Many of you know that the next project I was planning to do was a Mork Borg hack, adaptation of Ichabod Jones and Mork Borg. Two things that I absolutely adore. I adore Russell Nohelty. I adore this series. The entire omnibus is epic in its legend. I love it. And Mork Borg is the rules light kind of doomsday game that I really wanted, where you're not saving the world, but you're asking yourself, what would I save if I knew that it was all going to shit? Why keep going when you know it's going to shit? And what would you do knowing that? Which is kind of parallel to this card. What would you do if every privilege you know is falling away? You can see how it fits. You can see how much I would be into that. And then on top of that, I was just on the heels of finishing Badges Under Glass, Draft Zero. And I was feeling good about it. I was absolutely hyped to do it and ready and know I could. But writing this game gave me night terrors. And I say that with pure clarity and no exaggeration. I would go to bed and I would have nightmares. I cried through most of the character creation phase. I was sitting up there putting together the sheet and I was crying, knowing that I would pay for it later with restlessness and dark images that lingered long after I woke up. But once again, I kept pushing because I loved the source material. I loved the games I was playing. I have been playing RPGs since I was 15 years old, and I was making modules not too long after that. I think I was like 17, 18. I wanted to be excellent at adapting fictional worlds into playable systems. Currently at 52, going on 53 years old, I want to be an expert in doing that. So why couldn't I finish it? I had to keep asking myself that. And it turns out that wasn't the right question. What I had to ask myself was what I was afraid of losing by completing this game. And as I went through, I realized the answer was nothing, because for nearly 4 decades, I've navigated misogyny, racism, cruelty, and narcissism in all types of flavors just to stay at the table. People constantly failed me, but the game never did. TTRPGs never failed me. So it wasn't fear about the game or the kind of pushback I would encounter. It was about my identity. And it seemed fuzzy to me, so I had to start asking myself things like, what would happen if I lost the Shaman States of America? It's my everything. It is my flagship universe. It is the universe I've published in. It is the universe that I love, and people who write in it love it, right? 27 titles in that, and I am proud of it, and I'm building this game system so I could actually make it a full system and make Shaman States fully realized in my mind. What happened if that was stolen, monetized by others, and I was barred from touching it again? That is like the absolute worst that could happen with this. And I would grieve deeply. You can hear me now at the thought of it. It was the closest I had ever come to telling the truth about my life. But the truth is that despite all of that pain, I know I could build another universe. I always have. I really liked Alazar before Shamses from Morocco. And before that, I really loved Shanti, which are universes that you've heard a little bit about Avatar, you've not heard Shanti at all. But I made another universe. I know how to do that. Well, building is something I'm good at. So I have that. The heart still beats. But who would I be if I lost the lens? If I lost, when I talk about empathy, truth, kindness, joy, anti-greed as a moral code, yes, I talk about that. And yes, I do want to build products around it because I want tools to help me. I want tools to help me study and become more fortified in it. This is what this card deck is. But what would happen if it was taken and used and twisted to control people or to oppress people, or for someone to use the words to get notoriety, to get clout, but never live them out? I would be furious. And I am. But then I would remember that the lens, was a gift that was freely given. And free will has consequences that are not mine to enforce. I can't make you do anything that you don't want to do. You have free will. That is your right from God. But that does have consequences. And I would still live by it because that's literally how I live. There is no better way for me. And so I may have lost the association with it, but the life that it leads, I still have. So the heart still beats. I would also cut those who would misuse it out of my life. And that leads me to my next question. Who would I be if my support system collapsed? If my name was mud? If I was made a pariah? What would happen if I was betrayed by people who I loved? Entrusted with my emotional and mental health? That was also something that happened around the same time I was supposed to make this game, and it wiped me out. And the fact of the matter is that it's one of the few things that being an introvert is actually a good thing. It's one of the reasons why being an introvert is a good thing, because as much as I love being around people, I cannot recharge when I'm around them. And so I would learn to spend more time and find more constructive ways to get new blood and new air into my life. By not only cutting out the folks who betrayed me, but those who would listen to them. And it's crazy, I still have a group of core friends who I love dearly and who love me down and support me. And I'm still here. By the grace of God, I am still here. And I would still make things. And I would still love the game, because once again, the game never failed me. And that's when it dawned on me that I was already living the answers to these questions. And it was that truth that scared my nervous system. Who would I be if I had to do it alone? My deepest fear. And while Once again, I'm never truly alone. I have people who support me deeply, and all of you who are listening, by listening, are supporting me. But sometimes we can feel alone. And the answer is, I'm already doing it. It's my nervous system that doesn't feel like it's safe. But I am. And as we go on through these cards, I'm going to share the things that I've had to do to make my nervous system feel safe, because that's a key component in this. The first step for me is running this through the lens. Running the bound beating heart through the lens. With empathy asks you to recognize how you have already survived without minimalizing it. Stop playing that down, because it's remarkable and requires celebration. The bound heart does not shame you for flinching or needing time to heal. It understands that safety is learned slowly. Truth asks you to name what you are actually afraid of losing. Doing it alone. Not the story you tell yourself, but the real cost behind it. Often the truth is that you have already lived through the worst parts and are still standing. Kindness means making decisions based on accurate knowledge, even when you know they will cost you comfort, status, or approval. It is choosing actions that protect your future self, not just your present fear. And so, when we get to joy, we have to realize that this is not the absence of pain. It is the quiet return to aliveness. That's not a word. But just abundant life. It is the laughter that surprises you after grief. It is creating again without needing permission. And anti-greed reminds you that nothing truly meant for you can be stolen from your core. People can take credit, they can take access or visibility, but they cannot take your capacity, your ability to build, love, or begin again. It's never too late to start over. It's never too late to pivot. It's never too late to repent. So, what does it teach you? The bound heart teaches that grief is not failure. It is proof that you cared. It also teaches that grief does not need to decide your future, and it does not get to do it either. You are allowed to rest without quitting. You are allowed to let go without disappearing. You are allowed to rebuild without explaining yourself. This card invites you to regulate your nervous system through small, repeatable acts of safety. It reminds you that confidence is not a personality trait, but a practice, a skill built over time. You also don't have to grieve everything at once. You don't have to prove that you were healed. You don't. You only need to keep choosing what is honest, what is kind, and what allows you to keep going. The bound heart says you're not broken. You're in recovery. You're resting. And recovery and rest still count as movement. The path to Unpunishable is not about being untouchable. It's about being uncoercible. The bound heart marks the moment when punishment culture loses its leverage. When you realize that even if the worst happens, you remain yourself. This path teaches that safety is not guaranteed by compliance, silence, or sacrifice. It is built through alignment with your values and the courage to grieve what no longer fits. When your heart is bound by truth rather than fear, punishment loses its power. You're going to still feel pain, I promise you will. But you are no longer controllable through it. Thanks be to God. So, let me share this hope for you. Imagine a heart wrapped in old bindings, metal plates, little stitches, kudzu, bleeds popping out. But it's not to restrain it. It is to protect it while it heals. Each stitch is a lesson learned. Each scar is evidence of survival. May you loosen those bindings when you are ready. May your nervous system learn what peace, deep, abiding peace truly feels like. May you trust that love will find you again in all its forms, and maybe a few new ones too. May you know and believe deeply that you are allowed to carry your heart forward. Forward. Scarred, beating, and unashamed. Amen. I'm going to do a recap of the first 6 cards, which I've called the bindings. And I'm kind of looking forward to that. I've learned a lot of things. Once again, thank you for supporting the Kickstarter, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.